1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I know a few people who have benefited from bariatric surgery, and I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I heard that the governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, who's also a pretty hefty guy himself, is also considering it. And, of course, in the political circles, everybody thinks that means he wants to lose weight to look good for the presidential campaign coming up, but we won't go there. Let's talk about the bariatric surgery part of that story. It is a story we've known, Robin, from a few people in our own lives who benefited from it. And, in fact, one lady we know, who we won't name, but probably everybody knows her, she came into our lives after the surgery. And so it was one of those situations, like we know a few people really who had the surgery, and we knew them when they were heavy. And then after the surgery, we watched them slowly transform. And in her case, she showed us a before picture, and it was like, wow, that's hard to believe. And there are so many questions people have who are considering this. So we have some great news for you. We've got some guests who can answer those questions from Ocala Regional Medical Center, the Bariatric Surgery Program. And so in the studio, Kelly Potenza is in the studio. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
Where are you? How come I don't hear you? What did I do wrong on that thing? Maybe you just need to be closer to that microphone, Kelly. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, maybe I don't have a button pushed over here. Good morning, Kelly, again. Thank you. And Jonathan Shiraus.
How you doing?
And Shanti Joyner. Nice to meet all three of you. Kelly, you are a clinical coordinator at Ocala Regional Medical Center, so we'll ask you what that means. And Jonathan, you are actually a doctor of physical therapy, and we'll find out what role that plays. And Shanti, you are a patient.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You were heavy at one time?
A year ago.
Really?
Next week will be 1 year.
Wow, you look wonderful.
Thank you.
Wow, how much did you lose?
101 pounds.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Wow. You're wonderful. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
you've always been beautiful, but now you feel it, right?
Now I have the confidence.
Now you feel it. Wow, good for you.
Thank you.
And how did it so let me start with you. How did it start for you?
I was never like a real skinny girl. I always struggled in high school and had to watch everything I ate. I went on my first diet in like 8th grade. But I was never really heavy. I got married right after high school and had 3 kids in 4 years. My oldest daughter, who's now 7, is handicapped. And so I always would turn to food to deal with the stress and the sleepless nights and the hospital stays. So, of course, that contributed a lot. And I think I had knew people who had the weight loss surgery, but I thought it was really out of my reach, something my insurance probably wouldn't cover and we couldn't afford to pay for. So I just kind of kept it on the back burner and did all these different diets that I would just always fail.
Right.
So there was kind of 2 things that was the straw that broke the camel's back. But one was we went to a party in the summer and people were taking pictures, which I always tried to hide from the camera.
Right.
And the next day the pictures were on Facebook and there was a picture of me holding my daughter, and when I saw it I thought, oh my word, am I really that big? And I showed my husband, I'm like, am I really that big? And he's like, I mean, it's a picture. Like, he didn't want to say, well, yeah, you are. He's like, I mean.
So he didn't know how to answer. I can put myself in his shoes. Yeah,
right, exactly. It was like, he didn't want to say, well, yeah, you really are that big, And I was so depressed, and I thought, oh my gosh, I knew I was heavy, but I couldn't believe that I was that big, and that now this picture was on Facebook and everybody could see it, and I was mortified. So I thought, I've really got to make some changes. And so the other thing was I have a really close friend who had a special needs son who passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And
the son or the friend?
Her son, her special needs son passed away. He was 2.5 years old, and he had a rare chromosome disorder similar to my daughter's. And so we were talking one night, and she said that she was so grateful for all the pictures that she had and the memories that she had that she could at least go back and look on and have for her other children. And she was getting ready to have another baby, and she said, at least, Talia, which is her now daughter, would be able to see the pictures of when they had Caleb, her little boy.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I don't have one single good family picture. And if something happened to Brianna or any of us, because nobody's promised tomorrow, I don't have one good picture for my kids or for us, and all because I hate the way I look. I don't want to be behind the camera because I'm so fat and miserable. So, and this was on a Saturday, so I was like, that's it, I'm going to do this. I researched it online and called my insurance, and they said that it was covered, and because our deductible and out-of-pocket were met for the year, it would be covered 100%. And so I was like, this is really going to happen. I couldn't wait till Monday morning to be able to call the surgeon's office and make my appointment. First thing Monday morning, as soon as they opened, I called and said, I want to make an appointment as soon as possible.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's how it started.
Wow, well, good for you. And let me go to Kelly, if I could. How has the bariatric surgery and the opportunities to have bariatric surgery changed in Ocala in recent years? Have we come a long way?
We have come a long way. Bariatric surgery used to have a negative connotation behind it, but it has come such a far way from when it first began. Our outcomes at the facility are incredible. So bariatric surgery is now something that is sought after and not feared.
Is bariatric surgery interchangeable with, what have we heard, the band, stomach stapling? We've heard all different words. Is it the same thing, or is it totally different? And is all bariatric surgery the same?
Bariatric surgery is like the umbrella term for the procedures that we do. We do the lap band procedure, the gastric sleeve, and we do the gastric bypass. So they're all considered bariatric surgery. They're just different components.
Now, when a person is considering bariatric surgery, are they afraid that once that happens, that the muscle mass that they have is going to get thinner and it's going to sag and not be able to tighten up? How do you handle that question?
Those are concerns, but the patients go through such a stringent education process through this program that they are well aware of what to expect down the road. Everybody's body structure is different, so it's very hard to answer that question to say that everybody's going to have that problem after surgery. We always encourage them to follow the program, the surgery they do with diet and exercise.
So Shanti, you don't show any signs that you had been heavy before. Did you? I mean, you look pretty young, so maybe that's
26.
So that's part of it. So everything snapped back where it needed to be, huh?
I mean, I'm saying I probably will never look like amazing naked. But I mean,
I bet you do.
My husband's the only one who sees me that way, so I don't. But I mean, my skin looks much better than I dreamed it would, really. But I know, it's different.
But I mean,
for everybody.
to be honest with you, I'm looking at your chin. I'm looking at the underside.
I only have one now. I had two for quite a while.
There you go. That's what I wanted to know.
And I do have collarbones. I didn't have those for a while.
Oh, well, good for you. Wow, you look wonderful.
Thank you.
Wow, if we needed a poster child or poster person for this procedure, you're it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so let's find out about the therapy, and that's what you do, Jonathan, right? Is that part of it? I mean, do you get people who go through bariatric surgery? I mean, obviously the whole point is they want to look better. So do you get them started on a track that they really have to stay with the rest of their lives?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, and we were just discussing this earlier before we came in, it's a decision that has to be made on the patient's part before they even have the surgery done. In terms of, it's a lifestyle change. It's not something you can just go in there and do the surgery and then lose all that weight and then go back to your old habits. If you do, then you just wasted a whole lot of money essentially, or your insurance just wasted a whole lot of money. And so basically, what I do a lot of, more so than anything else, is education. I mean, yes, we do some exercises. Yes, we encourage walking and activity and those types of things, but probably the biggest benefit that I have to the patients is educating them in terms of these are the things you want to kind of stay on track of. These are things you want to try to avoid or not avoid or whatever, and then hopefully they'll have pretty good outcomes.
Now, Shanti said she tried diets. Why couldn't she have skipped the bariatric and just gone to you and then had the therapy that you provide everybody else? since that's the track you're putting them on anyway.
Yeah, it's it's a great question, and some people could have the fortitude to do that. Some people can't, or other people, they think they've exhausted all their options. People have different metabolisms than others, and all other types of different components to it. I think in terms of bariatric surgery, why I'm in agreement to it is that it gives people a good stepping stone in that right direction. Actually, a pretty big stepping stone.
Yeah, sure does look like it. Yeah,
in that right direction. And then once they see that they can get there, then it's like, okay, now it's all about maintenance. I don't have to get there now. I don't have this tremendous hill I got to climb. I'm there already. I just got to maintain it.
That makes sense.
And I think that's a lot easier mindset for someone to be in, as opposed to having this tremendous burden that they think that's an unsurmountable, deal. So,
can a woman get pregnant after she has the surgery?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We recommend that they wait at least 1.5 to 2 years after surgery, but yes.
So with the different types of bariatric surgery, who makes the decision, and are there things that our listeners could relate to perhaps that would say, well, this person gets the band and this person gets the sleeve, and I mean, how does that decision come?
The process for a patient to go through would entail sitting down with the surgeon and talking about what their needs are, and taking into consideration their medical comorbidities, and they work together, the surgeon and the patients work together to decide which surgery would best benefit them according to, like I said, their comorbidities and stuff. So the things that they would consider is patients who have type 2 diabetes, hypertension, GERD, which is reflux. A lot of those things are corrected after having surgery.
Sometimes people have hip displacements and they need hip surgery because of their weight. Do you recommend sometimes they have this procedure before the hip?
We do get a lot of patients that are coming because they do need to lose a significant amount of weight to qualify to have their joint replacement.
So most orthopedic surgeons actually are probably the one that kind of dictate that plan. They say, you know what, we're more than happy to do knee replacement, hip replacement, but let's get started on the right track first. Let's get some weight down, because I mean, if you just lose just 1 pound of a body weight, it's like multiplying that by 3 or 4 in terms of taking the pressure per square inch off the joint. So it makes a huge difference. And if they do replace a joint and they're still that heavy, think of how fast you're just going to wear out that prosthesis. So again, it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And in no sense in investing all this money into fixing the different components of your body. I mean, it's like trying to change out the carpet after there's a hole in the roof or something like that. Well, you want to change the hole in the roof first.
Oh, good analogy. Problem. So, yeah. What was the hardest part of the lifestyle change for you, Shanti? What was the hardest part?
Really just adapting to the new diet, the new lifestyle. Like, as I've heard it said before, that this isn't just a do-over. A do-over would be making the same mistakes over again and expecting different results. This is a do-better, making lifestyle changes that can last forever. So and for me, I always went to food. It was like a comfort for me. So that was really hard in the beginning. So
that's a psychological thing, though, isn't it? I mean, didn't you have to tell yourself, okay, I'm stressed, I'm not going to go for the food, I'm going to go for did you replace it with something else?
I have a big garden bathtub, and so I would take like 3 baths a night because I was so bored. My kids go to bed at 7 o'clock, and so I tell my husband, I'm going to take a bath. He's like, you've already taken 3, and I'm like, well, I'm bored and I can't eat. I mean, so what else am I going to do?
I'm going to kids and you're bored.
I was like,
she shops.
I do a lot of online shopping, so I mean, it's cheaper to take a bath and use.
Do you walk more? Do you exercise more now than you did?
I do try to walk. I mean, I can't lie and say I go to the gym every day and work out hardcore, because I do have 3 small children. My husband works a lot, but I do try to walk daily. I do a lot of home exercises. We have Just Dance and Zumba, and I do that with my kids.
There you go.
So it's been great because I can show a better lifestyle in front of my children too, and I'm not just hiding in the closet eating a piece of cake because I don't want to share it, or I don't want them to see me eating cake every day and them to think that's okay. Now I'm really I'm not being a hypocrite now.
Kelly, could you talk to the listener who has been told you're not heavy enough for bariatric surgery? And because we've heard stories of people who say, you know what, I should eat more. That way I'll be qualified for bariatric surgery.
Yeah.
That's a misconception. The BMI, the requirement for surgery is a BMI of 35 or greater with at least one comorbidity. Comorbidity is representative of hypertension, the diabetes. They should not get discouraged if someone tells them they should go for a consult. We have seminars, monthly seminars. Attend one of the monthly seminars, gain the information from the professionals. And then go forward from there.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So you, Jonathan, you're able to do rehabilitation for hip surgery, any kind of joint surgery, and also when a person has bariatric surgery, you're able to lead them on the right path because Shanti had mentioned Zumba, and sometimes people have in their mind that exercising is sit-ups and push-ups.
Yeah, I mean, obviously exercise is a fantastic component in terms of just general health and well-being, and actually I kind of get on the soapbox for a second when I used to do the pre-op class for them and everything else too, is that there's a big misconception in terms of our society in terms of how much calories you actually burn with exercise. And I'll put this into perspective for you. So if you wanted to burn off 1 pound of body fat, okay, that's approximately 3,500 calories you have to burn off for 1 pound of body fat.
Wow.
And to put that into even more perspective, in order to burn off that 1 pound of body fat, you essentially have to work out about 4 times a week for approximately 45 minutes at 80% of your maximum capacity. So you're maintaining a very high level of activity. So essentially, I mean, it's like Lance Armstrong's workout plans. He's probably 7 days a week, but very few of us would be able to maintain that pace, and that's just 1 pound per week. And so everyone's thinking, like, well, gosh, as I'm doing all this work, I'm not seeing any results. That's why people get so discouraged with exercise. Well, you don't really lose that much weight with exercise. Actually, sometimes people actually put on weight because they're putting on muscle mass, and then that can be misconstrued. Right. Actually, one of the best things you can do, and this is coming from a physical therapist, everyone thinks we're exercise, but actually one of the best things you can do, and I wish our nutritionist could have been here today, is a good nutrition plan. Okay, and I don't like using the word diets because, as she just said, diets typically don't really work that well because they're fad diets. You try one thing, try another, you may get some quick results, and you end up putting it back on. Because again, it has to be a lifestyle change. So it's much easier to take out maybe 500 calories out of your diet per day versus having to burn off the calories that you've already consumed.
That's exactly right.
And it's so much easier. Now, exercise is still a very important component, and actually all the studies show that if you combine exercise with the dieting, that you typically do have better outcomes, better results. And there's so many other benefits to exercise. I mean, she talked about all these comorbidities, and all those come down along with exercise as well, too. So again, going back to your previous question, and probably the vast majority of what I do isn't necessarily, hey, you need to do this exercise. And there's some abdominal things that we got to be concerned with, and some exercises that kind of help you, ward off some potential or complication after the surgery. But primarily, it's a good nutrition plan and a pretty good level of activity, and that will get you started on the right direction.
So you mentioned the pre-op meeting that you have with the patients. Do you get them started on the new lifestyle before they actually go in for surgery?
Well, yeah, I mean, you definitely want to get them in that mindset.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like if you already committed yourself to do the surgery, then you should already be there. You should already be making the changes in your lifestyle, as opposed to, kind of like. This was a Mardi Gras. Everyone kind of just like, it's like Sin City before.
Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday there. So
I was picturing beads all of a sudden. I didn't know you meant food. Okay.
No, but so you don't want to like gorge yourself, just prior to having a surgery, because if you're doing that, then you're definitely not doing this for the right reasons. It's like you got to totally change your whole entire state of mind in order to have long-term benefits to it.
When you go through McDonald's now, they have the calorie count on there. Who knew? And you say 3,500 calories. That's one of their sandwiches is 3,500 calories.
Yeah, it goes quick.
So if you got into that habit of every day or even every other day, that means you could literally gain 1 pound a day.
Easily.
If you were putting on that putting in those extra calories.
Another big misconception too that people have is that they say, well, I walked a mile this morning, so I'm going to reward myself by having this muffin for breakfast.
Right.
And of course some muffins are better than others, but what they don't realize is that, that mile walk you took this morning may have burned about 75 to 100 calories, and that muffin just consumes about 350.
Oh, wow.
So it's like you're rewarding yourself, and you're multiplying it by 4.
So speak about types of foods. You mentioned muffin, and we've heard that the pastas, the breads, these are the no-nos. Anybody want to comment on them? Do you?
I can talk briefly about it, but if you have something you want to add, Kelly.
Are you talking about after surgery?
Well, I guess in general, for all of us. I mean, are we doing ourselves in as far as our weight goes if we are consuming too much bread, too much pasta, anything made out of white flour?
And I will tell you, this is based on what we tell our patients. Carbohydrates are not the enemy. It's how much you put in. Everything needs to be done in moderation.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily, they're not necessarily a bad thing, but they are when you're doing an abundance of them. And like you said, eating 1 or 2 muffins versus eating a half.
Oh.
So how would a person, and maybe Shanti, this is maybe for you because you've gone through this, how do you, you're gung-ho. You say, okay, I'm going to do it. How do you stop yourself from going overboard? I mean, you still have to eat, so it's kind of like, when you quit smoking, it's easy. You just stop. You don't do anything. You can't quit eating.
Well, that's one of the good things about having the surgery. It's a tool. I can't eat too much because my stomach's so small. So if I eat too much, there's going to be a consequence. I'm going to be sick. I'm going to feel miserable.
Yeah.
So I can't. And there's a lot of times I have to actually add in an extra protein shake or something at the end of the day because I actually haven't gotten in enough calories. So that's one of the things that, this works more so than a diet because there's only certain things I can eat. The first year and a half, 2 years, you're going to lose weight no matter what you do, but you have to use that time to get in the habit of healthy things. Protein first. Don't drink with your meals, and that way afterwards when you're not
drink with your meals. Oh man, I make that mistake every time.
No.
Do you know my dad had what I would call involuntary bariatric surgery? He had a bleeding ulcer when I was a kid, and they took out 3/4 of his stomach or something like that. So I would imagine that's the same thing, because I remember he had been had a bit of weight on him, but after that surgery, which saved his life, but it wasn't for weight, it was because of the ulcer. He lost weight because he couldn't put as much food in there anymore. So makes sense.
And Shanti, since you are the mother of 3 and you have a husband and obviously a wonderful family, are you a little overcautious on what you feed your children so they don't get heavy?
Yes, I actually was overcautious before because I knew I was heavy. I knew I had a problem, and so like I said, I would hide my stuff from my kids. I didn't want them to see me eating that stuff, but now I'm definitely more aware of what my kids are eating and drinking, and Happy Meals from McDonald's and birthday cake are like a treat for us. It's not something we do every day. It's for a special occasion.
And when they get older and they're going to their friend's house or to the movies or something social, you have to be able to instill in them the good regimen of eating so they don't binge or go off the deep end.
Right, so I would feel like hopefully, by the time I'm letting them do that, which they'll probably be like 25 before I let them go off by themselves, I'm that mom. But, I would just hope they would make better decisions, or maybe those would just be their special occasion times.
Mm-hmm. That is Shanti Joyner speaking right there, and she is a bariatric surgery patient from the bariatric surgery program at Ocala Regional Medical Center, and they are who we are representing today on the air. Jonathan Sharaus is a doctor of physical therapy with Strive Physical Therapy in the studio to answer questions about what he does. And Kelly Potenza has been answering a lot of questions about the bariatric surgery. She's the clinical coordinator at Ocala Regional Medical Center. You guys have a good track record. Are there others who don't? And maybe more of a fair question is why? What are you doing right?
Our program is recognized as a center of excellence, and it's because we are a comprehensive program. We approach the care of the patient from different modalities. We start the education from the very first seminar that they come to, and that process continues through the whole way. They have access to myself and the dietitian through the whole process. Through physical therapy. We provide them support groups, monthly support groups, where they come and we offer them, help them through rough spots and stuff. the process doesn't start or end when they're discharged from the hospital. It continues on. So they have endless support through their whole process.
And that emotional well-being is key throughout every phase of it, because they have to feel good about themselves or it's going to take a turn for the worse. And you guys are great psychiatrists.
Absolutely.
So what happens, again, I guess we're going back to the beginning. Somebody's listening. They are thinking, okay, this is for me. I've heard enough. I need to start making a phone call. And we'll give out phone numbers in just a second. But do they first kind of, I guess, trying to figure out which avenue to go? And who directs them there? Do you do that?
They can contact me, and I usually like to get them signed up for a free seminar. And our seminars is with our surgeon that does the surgery at our facility, which is Dr. Ramos. And what we do at the seminars is we provide them with all the information, what kind of surgeries do we do. We answer their questions that they have, and they have a lot of questions, about insurance, what do I need to do, what's the next step, that thing. So we guide them through each step of the process, and then after the seminar, they do go in for what's called a new patient orientation. They go in, do the one-on-one with Dr. Ramos, and then they decide, okay, this is the surgery I'm going to do. We give them a checklist. They start doing their workup process, because sometimes it could take as little as 1 month, or it can take as long as 6 months, depending on the insurance requirements. So we start working them through that process, and then once they have everything approved, they get scheduled for surgery.
I'm guessing a big question, and maybe this is more superficial than anything, but is there a big scar left after the thing, or is it done?
No, we do our procedures laparoscopic. The incisions are very tiny, and then after a year,
oh wow,
you can barely see them.
Can't even see anything.
Wow.
Huh? The other question is, when we remove part or somehow restrict our food intake, does it impede our ability to absorb vitamins or mineral or anything? Do we have to take a supplement afterwards?
Absolutely. The gastric bypass patients will be on supplements after surgery because they do have a component of the surgery that's malabsorptive, so they will have to take supplements. The gastric sleeve will take an iron and a multivitamin, a B12 and a multivitamin. And then we encourage all of the patients to do the multivitamins after surgery. But the gastric bypasses will take iron, B12, calcium, and protein forever, because they have the malabsorption component of their surgery.
Oh, wow. I'm guessing, Shanti, you're in photographs now.
Yes, I am. We have our first family pictures done next month.
You guys should put together a calendar. We did a show with the ladies from the cancer group, and all these women who had mastectomies had posed for this beautiful calendar. You guys should do a bariatric calendar. You could be June. What's your birth month?
March.
You could be Miss March.
There you go.
Or Mrs. March in this case, right? Mrs. March.
What's really wonderful about Ocala Regional and about Strive is that everyone we've met so far and you've all been fun, you all have been real, but you're also extremely professional. So everybody that goes to you are in extremely good hands, because you're very genuine and you really care what you do. It's not just a job.
Thank you.
How long were you in the hospital, Shanti? How long?
For 5 days.
5 days? Did anybody come and visit you? Did they pass the gift shop? I'm leading here.
Actually, did.
Suzanne, I'm getting there. You know where I'm going with this, right? Suzanne?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I didn't even see Leah over there. Hey, how you doing? Gosh, I didn't even know you were in the room. All right, so where I'm going with this is a gift certificate that we have here, right? A $20 gift certificate for Lori's Gift Shop? Yeah. Right? And what do we do? Just say, hey, you want to call in and ask for it? You got it. That's it, right? That way you get a gift. What kind of gifts do they have in that shop?
Oh, jewelry.
Jewelry.
Clothes, goodies, cups.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming in. I didn't even introduce our non-speaking guests. Let me just thank our speaking guests, and Kelly Potenza, thank you for helping us understand bariatric surgery better.
You're welcome.
Shanti, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
I think you've always been beautiful, but now you feel it, right? And Jonathan Sharaus, let's see, what do I need to do? I cut the mayonnaise. drop that last sandwich at the end of the day, and I'll be okay, right?
You have to be on a diet that you enjoy. Just everything in moderation, like Kelly said.
Everything in moderation. Yeah. Well, thank you for what you're doing for all of us and for helping us understand what you do over at Ocala Regional Medical Center. We'll take a little break, and we will be right back. Oh, call us. Oh, there's the phone ringing. Hold on. Let me answer the phone. I forgot we were giving away $20. Good morning. You've got the $20. Who's this?
This is Judy, and thank you so much.
Judy, you've got it. It'll be waiting for you here at the studio, and you know we're at the Paddock Mall now, right?
Yes. Right.
Okay. All right, Judy. Thank you so much. You know, it's a good thing when you're giving away a prize to remember that you did that.
I know.
All right.
Detail.
All right. Thank you to everybody. We'll take a break and be right back.
Today in Florida Ag News from the Southeast AgNet, well, the field of biofuel crop research is a growing one as scientists look for ways to reduce our dependence on foreign oil in a productive and sustainable way.
One of the things that we learned from producing ethanol from corn is that we don't want to use